Anti-Afro Spingalies. Let me start out with clarifying some pronouns. When I refer to I, we, and us, I'm referring to those who were targeted with bullshit. If I need to mention the name, I'll mention the name. What did I miss? I'll go ahead and tell you this is a rhetorical question, but I'm asking it anyway. When did subjects in extortionist, creeps, chat, or panel, or both, undertake the process of researching this extortionist background, criminal record, and present the results on a live stream, catching the links, presenting documents, and reviewing it with the extortionist? When did that happen? Perhaps I missed reference to it, that a chat full of supposed supporters are going to undertake a process to research someone who they claim they're rocking with criminal record, bring it back to that panel, to that channel, and it's all discussed. When did I miss that? When? When did that happen? Likewise, when did subjects in Rage Pigs, Laquan Fisher's chat, panel, or both bring documents that have been available in and around the Umar Johnson sector and put it on the screen and review it? When was the probation term discussed? When were the felonies discussed? First acquired as an adult at age 19 on the record. When was that discussed? What 4, 5, 6, 7-hour live stream was dedicated to discussing those DV allegations and those restraining orders where you have threats of murder, suicide, threat of suicide, choking out women in front of children, his own and others? When? Taking stolen Social Security information, passing it around, going behind the scenes after getting this information, obviously from Mona De Leon, and just having a jolly good time about it. Then trying to lie and say he got it from a white man. Revenge porn threats. If you don't get back with me, when was all this information discussed on Rage Pig's channel? Like I said a second ago, that's a rhetorical question. Rage Pigs thought he could sit up here and subject me to criminal behavior, and I was not going to put up with it. When was it discussed? Thinking he can use other methods to harass me and I'm going to be quiet about it. Not going to happen. When was it discussed? It wasn't discussed. So how the hell are these idiots trying to cry and whine about we didn't sit and remix his chat and challenge him about a criminal record that he already addressed that only had a list of arrest encounters? I didn't even see the list. It was something that was referred to on a regular basis. The extortionist and Rage Pigs was never the subject of a live stream. Just flippant comments, off the wall jokes, trying to act like it didn't bother them. It was never addressed with any degree of seriousness. Can you force people to address certain things on their channels? No, of course you can't. Interesting how they will verbalize expectations that you do what they would never do. When Remix went on that rampage, trying to get a Bunko beef going, I said, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to participate in this bullshit. When people initiate evil, target others for no legit reason, knowing good and damn well the people did nothing to cause them harm, that shit always comes back somehow in some way. I said I'm not going to force any issue. I'll just wait and see if and when an opportunity presents itself, and I'll deal with it at that time. It never fails that opportunities will always present themselves. You don't need to force the issue. Lo and behold, I get a call from Kip who's saying that he went and undertook this process, conducted that research, and got the information. Okay, now we have a ball game. My view of that ball game was addressing lies that were spewed by Remix. Now, this is a whole different scenario. He gave his version of events when he was accused of all these different atrocities towards his mother and all these other things that were said about the partial criminal record information that listed only arrest encounters. You can't get anything from an arrest encounter, but you can get a whole hell of a lot from court records. So when the court records have now been revealed, this is an issue to address. It's time to address the lies that Remix said. Let's be specific to this one allegation that obviously caused Remix angst because he filed a privacy complaint with YouTube. That's fine. File a privacy complaint with YouTube. You can't get in trouble for filing a privacy complaint with YouTube, but you can get in trouble for a whole hell of a lot of other shit that these subjects are doing in these YouTube streets. So he files a complaint. I put it back up. I make some modifications. Now, the reason this is significant, this particular receipt, is because Remix repeatedly ran around these YouTube streets saying he's never been put on probation. At one point, when Remix kept repeating over and over that he's never served probation, I said to myself, if he's never served probation, that must mean these charges are all dropped. At that point in time, why would I go look it up? Are you looking up Rage Pig's record? Are you talking about his record? Are you looking up the extortionist record? Are you talking about it? No. The source that presented the information wasn't reliable. So Remix got the benefit of the doubt. Now that the record has been obtained, we see that Remix lied. For this offense, Remix was indeed placed on probation. Remix says that this is a lie. Remix can say it's a lie. He said he never hit his 8-year-old brother when he was a grown-ass dude. Well, that's not what Remix's mother says. And this occurred 22 years ago. Yes, it did. But you mean to tell me if you came up with a record like this on Rev G, it would be irrelevant? If you came up with a record like this on Kip or Smoke, it would be irrelevant. If you came up with a record about me or anyone that refuses to attack me with this information, would it be relevant? And the answer, of course, is yes. They would be having a field day. I mean, come on, they have a field day making up lies, accusing black men of being pedophiles and child molesters when there's no arrest record associated with it. But this is not relevant? I say it's relevant. That's why I'm talking about it. You don't have to think it's relevant. Can't force someone to think something is relevant. It's relevant because, number one, he lied about never being placed on probation. And you see right here, you also see up here, this is classified as a domestic offense. It says it right here. Remix is free to deny whatever he wants to deny. If he claims this is false, this never happened, or someone lied, Remix's mother, Remix, and his brother can see whether or not they can get a lawsuit going 22 years ex post facto. Good luck with that. But this is information that's relevant. He said he was not on probation. That's false. The court placed Remix on probation. And it says here there's outstanding fees that he didn't pay. But I do know in a lot of states, if you do not pay fines associated with criminal charges, that they can go about suspending all types of privileges for you. One of them is a driver's license. I don't know if this is a case in Tennessee, but if you have outstanding fines associated with a court case, they can make life pretty challenging when it comes to being eligible for benefits. Trust and believe you will be treated beneath an illegal alien who can get all kinds of benefits, including a driver's license, at least in this state. I consider it every bit relevant when Remix tried to get a bunco beef going and told all these lies, such as I gave him information about Photon, I gave him information about pills and all this other stuff. Yes, I gave him information about pills, but not what he claimed. Didn't get information that I have with respect to Photon. Well, if you got the information, you can send it to them. I wouldn't dare ask Remix to post it online for the world to see because Remix was whining and crying that his privacy rights have been violated. Okay, that's all right. Send the information to Pillsbury, send the information to Photon, or whoever else he claims I got into their business and gave him information and all these emails. It wasn't worth my time or effort addressing it within the context of a bunco beef. It's every bit worth my time to address it within the context of getting more information, getting the facts about details. Now, as far as who might be interested in this information, I find it quite interesting that Rage Pigs tried to pull a fast one, and this was disclosed by Remix. He went behind the scenes, slid Remix's arrest encounters to Brianna. He didn't have the guts to come up on a public forum, grab a link like I did, and make it known. Who the hell was I hiding from? Those people who I decided to come on links with and disclose this information were those who Remix accused of harming children. Remix accused Lemon of doing something to a minor, having a minor in his home, and the minor was at risk. Remix picked up the phone and said he called the sheriff's department and says this minor is in Lemon's house and he's at risk. Well, what do you know? There was a minor at risk in a home where Remix was, who he cold-cocked in the eye, causing injury, resulting in Remix being removed from the house. So thus far, the person who has placed children at risk would be Remix. It's a free country. I can let whoever I want know what's going on. Those that Remix was falsely accusing. And let's get it straight about the names. Wasn't Remix the one who told Corey live that that's not your son? And don't get it twisted. It doesn't matter what my relationship is with anyone that I'm mentioning. The incidents happened. He came online and said, that's not your son, or questioning whether that's your son. That's something Remix decided to get online and say to Corey. However, we can't seem to figure out why he's the only Dixie and everybody else seems to be Appleberry. If Remix had this information about someone, wouldn't he address it? Well, he's addressing a situation with Corey and his kid in the car based on what? Because he wanted to say it? Did anybody stop him? Did he feel guilty about it? No, he does what the hell he wants to do with no proof and no evidence. That is what he does. We say what we say based on documentation, based on tangible evidence / information. And then we have the situation with Dumpsy D. Durrell. Wasn't Remix the one screaming and hollering about Dumpsy D. Durrell's wife as a child abuser? Well, she's a convicted child abuser, all right. Well, Remix is a convicted domestic abuser. It says it up here, domestic. Someone is in the home. They have a relationship, a familiar relationship to you, and you're violent towards them. That is domestic assault. So where can Remix criticize Dumpsy's wife? Well, he was able to do that under a shroud of secrecy because the facts about the criminal record history was not known. Fub and that other dude did not bring that information forward. They only brought forward a list of arrest encounters. In every single case, for all we know, could have been dismissed. Every single thing someone does that's against the law isn't caught. But we have Remix up here talking about how he's going to kick everybody's ass and whoop everybody's ass and how he used to do this and do that. But he didn't mention that the victims that are documented by law enforcement are children and women. He was saying that about Rage Pigs, was he not? He was saying about Dumpsy D. Durrell, was he not? But interesting how he felt confident that he can speak in these terms, but omit himself. So this is information that was brought to me. I see it as significant, and I'm speaking on it. And I'll speak on any information that I consider to be significant. All right, Remix says he never hit his kids. I'm not talking about Remix's kids. I'm talking about his brother. It's verified that he put his hands on his brother. Okay, 2003. But 15 years later, there continue to be incidents involving violence. Stay tuned for that. There isn't a single illegal act that we have perpetrated in this process. Can they say the same? No. They're up here harassing and threatening people while on freaking probation, while you have these other subjects engaging in all these criminal activities and a whole chat full of folks supporting them. Good, support them. The other bizarre yet predictable routine that you see recycling in that Umar Johnson sector are those who claim to be down with you. They're supporting you. And this is the situation with Remix. Oh, yes, I don't care what you all think. I'm rocking with those I rock with. But when it comes down to it, you can't take the pressure. People get to decide who they want to rock with and who they want to deal with. Do you see any of us crying about that? The only one who was crying was Remix. And he managed to rip off these idiots in the process by lying about having receipts that don't exist. About all these, how many emails? 100? I don't remember what he said, 100,000 or whatever he said, some astronomical crazy number. Go ahead and believe it if you want. Dummies paid him. He was on the take. He wanted some money and you paid him money. For what? For nothing. That's your problem. You mean you're worried about taking, quote, hits for us from subjects who call you a mother beater? And now justifiably can call you a brother beater. But they're the ones saying that Remix was beating up on his mom, sexualizing children, and all this other stuff. Who said that? The ones that Remix says he was taking hits from on behalf of us. No one took hits for us. When did any of us ever ask Remix to do anything? If this is the way Remix or whoever else decides they want to roll, roll. And it will never work that anyone can turn it around and act as if you were wronged. When you're the one who engaged in the backstabbing, you're the one who was an ingrate. You're the one who was a liar. You're the one who claims, I'm rocking solo. I don't need nobody. I stand on my own. But now he's talking about nobody supports my channel. You don't give me any money. La, 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 la. I thought he didn't care about those subjects. He has all of this caring and worry and concern about what subjects think about him who call him a mother beater. He was the one who jumped up and ran over to their channels on whatever campaign. We didn't give a shit about it. Did you see us running all over to these different panels? No, that was Remix who did that. It's the same routine that's followed with those who end up showing that they're nothing but a bunch of phonies who are too worried about what other people think. You couldn't handle the pressure. That's your problem. What won't happen, for damn sure, is I'm going to jump up on some panel or be beckoned onto some panel so I can be treated like a circus animal. No, I'm not going to grab the link. And if he comes up on a link when I'm there, I'm just going to jump down. Call me whatever name you want. There are those out there who don't have the guts to respect themselves. This is someone who's expecting all this respect, all this deference, regardless of how he treats someone else. And these other idiots who can definitely relate to be an abuser expect the same. No matter what they say to you, you're to remain loyal to them. You're to grovel. Oh, what did I do? How come you're mad at me? I didn't do anything. We all knew we did nothing. There's nothing to grovel about. There's nothing to beg about. Asking a straight up question, hey, what's up? Is this asking what's up? Then followed, as I stated earlier, the lies, the abuse, the insults, the expectations that you sit there and listen to that garbage and show him respect. Like hell I will. I don't have respect for anyone who doesn't have respect for me. If whoever wants to call it turning on someone after they stabbed you in the back, so be it. I'm not losing a wink of sleep. There are those, I guess, who are so desperate who feel, oh my God, I don't have anything else. No, I have plenty. Plenty of people who support me, plenty of people who care, plenty of people who I would not even be concerned about something like this happening, have a clue. What did Remix get out of us? Nothing. What? What can he do? Is this a Nikki Proctor Walden situation? What can he say? He's nothing he can say but run his mouth. Go ahead, run his mouth. Again, it's not a riddle to solve. But you know what? I've got more coming your way. Buyer beware.